Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. It is Tuesday and we've got a packed studio. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Alan Ruff is back with us, looking bronzed and cultured as well. We'll get an insight into that a little later on. Gordon Smith, and I'm delighted to say alongside Gordon, is Xander Diamond. We'll be talking about Xander, what the future holds for him, and maybe getting his opinion on some of the burning issues that he's been missing out on in Scottish football. Lots to talk about. Let's get into it. Kilmarnock have slashed the allocation for Rangers fans for that final league game at Rugby Park for Killie, down to 4,000. The statement coming out from Kilmarnock is as follows: as we continue our 150th anniversary celebrations, we want to turn our final match of the season on Sunday, May 19th at home to Rangers into a celebration of all things Killie. With this in mind, we as a board of directors have made the decision to house Rangers supporters solely in the Chadwick stand, with Kilmarnock supporters in the remaining 3 stands. So clearly they're hoping for a big turnout. Here's the response from Rangers, and they're not happy about it. We are disappointed with the decision, which will force us to consider carefully what application we will seek for future matches at Rugby Park. Well, yet again we are in for this tit for tat nonsense. Gordon Smith, how do you view this whole fracas that's developed from Killie wanting to celebrate their 150th anniversary?
Well, they are celebrating that this year. See, I've already been at a function myself, being an ex-player. I've been there at the function, so I think they want to have celebration because they think they can qualify for Europe, and they want this match to be remembered by the Kilmarnock fans, bring more of them in. So I can understand to a degree why they do it, but I can understand Rangers being annoyed, because what they're saying is, we sell all these tickets for you twice a season, and you get big crowds, and we bring in a fair bit of money for you, and now all of a sudden you're halving our allocation. So we'll maybe see whether we'll maybe take any future places at the stand. You know, Rangers might even say we won't come and play at Rugby Park anymore. So that would be a big loss financially for Kilmarnock, and it would be Rangers would be paying them back for what they're doing to Rangers this weekend for that match.
Ruffy, it's a thinly veiled threat by Rangers. Over and above that, we have a situation only in Scottish football, may I add. This lunacy goes on all through the year. Hibs decide to cut the allocation. Suddenly Rangers follow suit in cutting the allocation. They've now decided to make it, what, 700-800 for Rangers fans, Celtic fans going to Ibrox, and then now Celtic have cut the allocation for Rangers fans. Our country is completely and utterly crazy trying to stop what is a spectator sport for 2 sets of fans.
Yeah, but in the face of it, it looks crazy. But I think if you're in the Kilmarnock camp, it just shows you the success you've had this year. You know, I think from where they were, you know, we were looking at the stadium half empty all the time. But now they have a fantastic season under the new manager and the players that they can demand to do that. That they wouldn't have been able to do that 2 years ago. You know, make that kind of decision. So I hope they do fill it. I hope the Kilmarnock supporters get right behind the team and make that stadium full. Yeah,
Xander, as a player who's just retired, I don't know about you, but do players like going to games? You've experienced football north of the border, south of the border, that feeling of a huge away support as well, that edge to the game?
Yeah, and even my experience at Aberdeen, I always remember vividly going to Tannadice, about 4,000 or 5,000 of our own fans getting away allocation from the stand behind the dugouts, and obviously I think it's the shed end it was. But it was great, you know, that it all adds to the atmosphere. Down south, away days are always your best days, going to different grounds. But, you know, just returning to Scotland, it is like you said, there seems to be a tit for tat. If one does it, the other one does it. So as I say, I'm not in an opinion to say anything, but it just looks as if that's what it is.
Yeah, you've been away for quite a while. Don't worry, we've moved on and progressed as a nation. Okay, talking of going backwards, Ruffy, you've been away in Venice, which I don't think has the same cultural problems as we have here. So suddenly we have Celtic condemning the bigots in this statement, which again is prompted by Aberdeen. Derek McInnes mentioning that he was hoping that the authorities would step in with the sectarian chants towards them. Celtic have said chanting of this nature should have no place in football, and we condemn this wholeheartedly. We hope the authorities also take the same interest in offensive chanting directed at Celtic and their supporters at the match and other games. Now let's deal with that. Is that whataboutery there?
Yeah, okay, it was tit for tat. You know, if you're going to have a go at us, we're going to have a go at you. You know, and we've talked about this on numerous occasions on the show. I mean, where do you stop? You know, and who do you target? You know, what area do you target? What people do you find? You know, and it all boils down to the majority of people who went to that game at the weekend enjoyed themselves. They weren't there to cause trouble. They weren't singing anything, and these are the guys who are going to get punished.
Yeah, there was a considerable amount in a section singing that song towards Derek McInnes. I was there. I listened to it, Gordon. What do? You just keep. For me, if you're breaking the law, you keep hammering them. When Celtic are talking about at other grounds, I think they are on solid ground because it's going on at other grounds, and they need. Yeah. They need a consistency in the law and actually dealing with people who are breaking the law. The difference with the Aberdeen supporters were singing a song which had the word paedophiles in it. And, you know, I'm not so sure. I think it's in bad and very poor taste, but I'm not so sure it breaks the law. No,
it's not just a question of breaking the law. I think it's what you need to take into account here, inappropriate words and chants. These are things that have to be taken into account, and I think that's why I've called for it to say that strict liability should be brought in for large groups of supporters, whether it's songs, chants that are inappropriate, illegal as well, and also invasion of pitches. That's when it should come in, and clubs should be punished for these fans, because the only way you'll stop them doing it is if they think their club's going to be punished for it. Yeah. You need to deal with that behaviour in terms of attitudes first by dealing with the behaviour, and I think you should. You
can't deal with inappropriate, Gordon. If people decide to sing a song in poor taste, that's not against the law. It's not right, and I don't like to hear it. And I think I think it's a sad indictment of our society.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. But we should be taking into account what sort of songs and words are actually described as inappropriate and which ones would be deemed to be unacceptable. Yeah. And that's the ones you have to deal with. There were certain ones that, as you say, some of the chants will get you saying, well, they're not doing anything wrong, unlawful, and it just continues. Yeah. That is a problem with that, because it will continue.
Well, what we're waiting on, Ruffy, is somebody to come out with a top hat and go, and now, ladies and gentlemen, before the match starts, here's a list of the songs you can't sing, because it's getting to that madness. As far as football on the pitch, Derek McInnes is obviously awaiting his punishment. He's accepted he was in the wrong for reacting to the Celtic fans. Lewis Ferguson's got a 2-game ban. I don't know if you watched the Aberdeen-Celtic game, Xander, but it must have brought back memories when you see the pictures of Ryan Christie. This challenge from Dominic Ball. In the end, Dominic Ball picked up a second yellow, but you had a similar injury.
Yeah, similar. And when I seen the photographs coming through whilst watching it, it brought back memories. Not that I say I remember it when I hit the ground. Fractured my eye socket and cheekbone, and it's a painful one. And it's great to see Ryan's made a recovery, but it'll be sort of non-contact for the next few weeks, and where he makes a cup final is another thing.
Yeah, cracked eye socket, cheekbone and jaw as well. I would suggest even with a mask, and you had to wear a mask as well, I would imagine he's up against it for the cup final.
Yeah, but being a professional, you always try and give yourself the best possible chance, and if Celtic are going for this treble, he'll certainly want to be playing a part of that, whether he wears a mask or not, but he'll want to make that team lineup.
Did you think the mask was a hindrance?
Yeah, definitely. Being at the back, you can't really see right and left clearly, and it gives the strikers the impetus to lay another one on you because you see you're sort of protected. But no, I just thought it was a bit of a hindrance, and as soon as I could get rid of it, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we'll talk more to Xander, find out what he's up to now. It's been a long career. There's been more than a few highs, maybe the odd low here and there. And we'll also get Ruffy and Gordon's thoughts on the Champions League second leg quarter-final ties. We've got Barcelona against Manchester United. We've got Juventus against Ajax as well. But before all that, why not have a look at this week's question? I think everyone is steamed in on our quiz this week. An easy one. Barry almost gave it away yesterday. Yeah, he was a teammate, and then he's just about to say his name, but he decided against it. You know, we were talking just before there about people eager to play in the cup final. I nearly fell off the chair. Lee Griffiths looking as if he's thinking of becoming available for the cup final.
Yeah, I think that would be a surprise to everybody. We don't know what he's been doing behind the scenes. We don't know if he is actively doing double sessions, but certainly he's got a wee while before the final, and I think even if he made the bench, you know, it'd be a bonus for him, you know, just to sort of get back into
the have to play things, games, wouldn't he? You'd have to.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be
one
just
or two beforehand, Gordon?
I think maybe at least a couple of games before, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's that type of player that he can pop up with something out of the ordinary. He's the type of person that if you've got him on the bench, you know, it could be the difference between winning the cup and not. Yeah,
of course. He's a match winner in any team he's played in. So, you know, if the reports are correct that he's wanting to get to the cup final, then, you know, it's probably a long journey that he's had, but it's great to see that he's been probably linked getting into the team again after sort of the problems that he's had.
Yeah. Let me ask you, because it concerns Aberdeen. Derek McInnes is saying, you know, listen, we're well aware that Graham Shinnie was spotted at Derby County Stadium. He's been talking to them. He's got the option to go or stay at Aberdeen. You also had that option. He's been a stalwart, a captain that's loved up there at Pittodrie. Can you understand maybe the desire now for change for Graham Shinnie?
Definitely. I think there got to come a time in your career that if you play, I don't know how many years he's been there, 3, 4, 5 years, he's got to move on, because I felt that I stayed probably 2 years longer and stagnated, and your performances start to suffer. So a club of Derby, you know, I stayed in that city for 6 years, and a fantastic fan base, the infrastructure they've got in place, and it'll be probably a good move for him if he decides to go there. Yeah.
Do you become a better player, a different player, a more rounded player with that experience down south? Because he's got that tenacity up here, but it could add. Do you think he would add much more?
I think so. I think if you look at Craig Bryson going down there, and he made a name for himself, you know, he's a legend in the Derby, the county fans' eyes. And if Graham goes down there, if he does sign for Derby and makes the same sort of impact that he did, then I'm sure he'll be a success.
Yeah, it's a big step, Gordon.
Yeah, it's a big step, but as I say, there's two things about it. One is you want to try and you know, increase your football knowledge and experiences as well. So when you retire, you know, you've said, well, I played in England too and all that. And then the second aspect will be the financial one. No question of it that the English teams, even in the Championship, are paying a lot more money than Scottish Premier League teams are playing. So that's a major factor here, that he would go into a lot more money.
Yeah. Would you advise him, if you were his agent, to sample it?
I would say to him, yeah, that would be the best thing to do. And just in terms of his experience, football experience as well, I think it's best he goes to England and realise what it's like. Xander's the same. He knows I was the same, went down there, and it's a great experience to play down in England.
Yeah, okay. I've got to ask you about the career. It's one of those moments. I had a look and it came up. Xander Diamond is hanging up the boots. I mentioned to you as we locked horns outside the studio, it seemed like only yesterday you were jumping out there as a fresh-faced youngster. How difficult a decision was it with the injuries that you had, that it was time to hang the boots up?
In the end, it was taken out of my hands. But in the beginning, you give yourself the best possible chance to come back. You know, being ex-pros, it's like the fire in the belly, but you can only take so much. And 2 courses of epidurals in the back and 2 operations subsequently put paid to it. My body just wasn't capable anymore of pushing, or probably where I wanted to be as a pro. So So yeah, a decision based on the surgeon, but also with my family as well into mind, and being a father.
Yeah, absolutely.
A recently father, that is.
Well, listen, congratulations on that. But remember, Ruffy, he had 2 epidurals to sort out the disc. He didn't actually give birth to the weight. but over and above that, is there a long holiday now? Is there a chance to just recharge the batteries before you might get back into football?
Yeah, there is. We just done the move from Derby 2 weeks ago, so that's been stressful in itself. But I promised the wife throughout we'll have a good holiday, so we've booked to go away and get a bit of sun on the back, and then recharge and see what the next chapter is for myself.
Yeah, we're available for babysitting because we're at that age where there are days
on the holiday, do you mean?
Yeah, absolutely, Gordon. Before we say farewell tonight, Champions League doesn't get any better. I don't know. I mean, Gordon mentioned that Brighton have got a huge game against Cardiff. If anybody's watching Brighton Cardiff, it's you, Gordon. But the rest of us are going to go Brighton.
I don't think you'll be able to see it because I think when there's Champions League games on,
of course, that's the other point.
They can't show
unless you've got Brighton
domestic
TV.
Well, I don't actually. We can't watch domestic games, so I will be watching Barcelona.
Yeah,
Manchester United.
I mean, it's the game that everybody's talking about. It's one of those games where Ruffy, I mean, the next 2 nights are going to be absolutely superb. But the new camp, we think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and what he achieved there, but they're a long way from the class of '99, this squad at United.
Yeah, I think defensively, they maybe get fun out a wee bit tonight. This is when the big boys turn up, and obviously we know who they are, and they're playing in the 2 sides tonight, Juventus and Barcelona. So I'm expecting these 2 to do something special tonight and take their teams through to the next round.
They have to be a lot better. I mean, Manchester United didn't even have a shot at goal in the first leg. I mean, that's unbelievable to be a home side in the European game, not even have a shot at goal.
Yeah, what's even worse though, Xander, is Barcelona have only lost 1 game at home to Real Betis.
Yeah.
I mean, Tottenham get a draw over there, but when they've got the bit between their teeth, they can make it a torrid night for any opposition.
Yeah, I think, and also the rest of the top players at the weekend there, so they'll be fresh.
Yeah.
They'll be fresh as well. So I agree with Ruffy. I think it'll be Barcelona and Juventus that will progress tonight.
Yeah, okay, give me a prediction and score. Barcelona first.
I'll go 2-0.
I've gone 2-0, I agree with Xander.
So I was about to say 2-0 as well.
Ruffy?
Well, I'll go 3-0.
All right. not that it makes much difference, because I think it'll be a tough night for them. And of course, we're talking about everybody will be excited. They'll be watching Messi, waiting to see if he's going to do something. Artur, Rakitic, Suarez. When you just roll those names off the tongue, I don't think there's enough of them in the United side. Pogba, I mean, I'm more excited to see how McTominay, performs in the new camp. Yeah,
it's going to be a big night for him, and we all hope that he comes through it again as much as he did in the first leg, because I think he's going to be a big player for our national side. The more games he gets at that level, we'll get the benefit of it.
Yeah, Juventus against Ajax. There's a romance about Ajax because maybe they haven't spent as much money. But Ronaldo loves quarter-finals. He scored 25 goals in 21 Champions League quarter-finals. He's the man for the big occasion.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, phenomenal record. And I think with Juventus being at home, I think they'll close the tie out. Where they get 1 or 2 now. I think a clean sheet as well they'll get. But I just think at home, even domestically, I think they're 20 points ahead in the league, and they'll win that tie.
I think they should be. You look back to Ajax's performance in the last round in Madrid, which was incredible.
Yeah.
That was the biggest shock I think we've had in years in European football, wasn't it? The way they played that night, they were absolutely superb and beating Real Madrid. I know Real Madrid are not at their best just now, but I think
the funny thing is,
Juventus
Gordon, Real Madrid didn't have Ronaldo.
No,
I think it might have been a different game again.
Well, they can hardly win any games just now without Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He's carried them without doubt for the last 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
So without Ronaldo, they are not the same team.
And Frankie de Jong, hamstring injury, he's struggling to make it as well. They need to produce something that was just up there with one of their greatest ever results, Ruffy.
No, if you're going to give the Italians an away goal, it's worth 2 or 3 of them, because they know exactly what they need to do. And if they were to get a goal tonight, they would see that as a game done and dusted. Yeah,
Erik ten Hag, the Ajax coach, mentioned that they're not going to man-mark Ronaldo. I mean, if you're a centre-half, Xander, and you're up against Ronaldo, how do you actually get to the point where you one momentary lapse and it's in the net?
Yeah, of course. It's like you try and surround yourself, try and protect yourself being a centre-back, a player that calibre, but they've got another 9 outfield players that can also swing the game their way. So I think Man United will be, Juventus will be winning that game, no bother at all.
Yeah, I'm going for 2-0 in that as well. What about you?
I'll go 1-0. I think they'll close it out 1-0.
I'll go 2-0 for that one too.
2-0, yep.
I'll go 2.
2? Oh, we're all in agreement. It's Juventus to go through unless there's a massive shock. If there is a massive shock, you can absolutely cane us. Who was the toughest guy that gave you the absolute run around? Like, with not Ronaldo-esque, but somebody that you...
I was always John Hartson. Yeah, physical, always picked me up. But I think that was just more to hit me down again. But a big gentleman. I would always say John. If you're taking it over course of season upon season, I would say John Hartson would be my hardest one.
Listen, have the holiday. We'd love to see you back in here again. We hope you get back into football because you've got so much to offer the game. It's been a long and illustrious career. Great to have Xander Diamond with us here in the studio. We'll hear from Xander and his career in one of our special programmes for the summer, so look out for that. Great to have Ruffy back with us, of course. Different holiday clothes on as well, a little tan. It's all there, Gordon. If it's any consolation, Gordon, you look really white next to him again.
I usually do.
Yeah, absolutely. People will be phoning saying, is Gordon okay? Is he not feeling well? Next to Ruffy, we all look sick. Thanks to Ruffy, to Gordon and to Xander. Thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.